When memories from my childhood come to mind, they always center on a grand log cabin situated on a vast stretch of land 20 miles off the highway, surrounded by the endless fields of corn that mark the rural Missouri landscape. Like a broken record that repeats the same song over and over, reaching the end just to start again, my mind plays a continuous loop of images from a childhood spent splashing in creeks, roaming fields of prairie, and chasing Malia, the gentle auburn haired farm dog. I'm sure there are other moments from my childhood, apart from that farmhouse in Lynn, Missouri, that were formative to the development of who I am today. But nothing quite compares to the quiet days spent under the care of my grandparents at that home away from home. To return to the farm is to resume the childhood I left behind many years ago, stored away in boxes full of toys that sit in the basement of my parents' home. The farm seems to hold my childhood in the palm of its hands, every fond memory of mine kept safe and in its place in a pile of wood, cracked canoe, and dust-covered deer stand. It holds on to these memories of mine, waiting for months every year to gently return them to me, urging me to remember how it felt to be 10 and careless, my only problem being the scolding I was sure to get for muddy footprints I tracked across the living room floor. I know that I never have to worry about these memories leaving me, that even as I age and the mark my childhood left on me becomes smaller and smaller, that land in rural Missouri will always remind me of brisk, sunny mornings passed lying on a worn couch as my grandma combed my hair, humming the Beatles' Hey Jude under her breath. Nature's preservation of my childhood memories mirrors the connection between nature and childhood found in Ralph Waldo Emerson's Nature and Willa Cather's My Antonia. In these works, Emerson and Cather highlight the way nature acts as a time capsule for childhood, capturing the power it has to restore adults with the long-forgotten feelings of wonder and innocence. In his essay Nature, Emerson states, "In the woods is perpetual youth." Emerson observed the profound effect nature has on an individual, the near unbelievable way it can transform you into a child once again, with hungry eyes and ears taking in the sights, the smells, the sensations. He believed that to truly appreciate nature, one must let go of the worries that consume their adult lives and return to the clumsy, carefree spirit of childhood. Emerson declares the lover of nature is he whose inward and outward senses are still truly adjusted to each other, who has retained the spirit of infancy even into the era of manhood. Upon my return to the farm on a rainy April day, I witnessed the spirit of infancy take hold of my brother and grandfather as they followed a bald eagle soaring above our heads, their eyes glazed over in childlike wonder. I struggle to describe just how much this land means to me. How am I to put into words something I only experienced through the deep, warm feeling in the center of my chest, that familiar pang I feel when I think of stargazing with my grandparents on warm summer nights? How should I explain that each time I walk along the gravel pathways of the land, the leaves of the tall oak trees above me whistling in the wind, I hear the soft notes of my opa's accordion as he plays Edelweiss, his long, aged hands stretching the instrument with each press and pull. Just as Emerson declares that nature preserves the essence of childhood, in her novel My Antonia, Willa Cather displays the imprints childhood leaves on the landscape that one grew up on. Jim Burden, the main character of My Antonia, has deep emotional ties to his hometown of Nebraska. The ebbs and flows of the seasons mimic Jim's development from a child to an adolescent to an adult. In the novel, Jim states, "More than anything else, I felt motion in the landscape, in the fresh, easy-blowing morning wind, and in the earth itself, as if the shaggy grass were a sort of loose hide, and underneath it herds of wild buffalo were galloping and galloping." Like the galloping buffalo, Jim's childhood passes in a blur of snowstorms, wildflowers, and conquered rattlesnakes. As he ages and life takes him further away from that farm in Nebraska, he holds on to memories of him and his childhood love, Antonia. When he returns as an adult, he finds that just as he kept those fond childhood memories safe, so too did the farm he was raised on. He declares, "As I went back alone over that familiar road, I could almost believe that a boy and a girl ran along beside me as our shadows used to do, laughing and whispering to each other in the grass. Through Jim, Catherine evokes a strong nostalgia for the land of one's childhood and highlights the memories it holds. As we stood in the cool April rain, observing the river that flows around the edges of the farm, I asked my grandpa what nature means to him. With a voice that brings to mind nights spent curled up by the fireplace, listening to him recount the tales of his youth, my grandpa answered, "I think we're all a part of nature, and there's so many things that nature does for our soul and our well-being." His words reflect those of Emerson's in his essay Nature, as he states, "In the woods we return to reason and faith." Such is true for me upon every return I make to that log cabin in rural Missouri. Each time I drive through the tall iron gates, I leave all my worries at the top of the hill. They have no room on the land that reminds me to slow down, to pick the bluebells and dandelions and fashion them into a crown to place atop my head. In my Antonia, after his return to Nebraska, Jim remarks, "I had the sense of coming home to myself, and of having found out what a little circle man's experience is." My experience at the farm echoes that of Jim's. It makes me realize that I am not so far away from those lazy, sunny days of childhood, that to remember how it feels to be 10 and careless again, all I must do is listen to the words of Emerson and Cather and return to the place that forever holds those memories and its trees, its tall grass, and the cracks in the worn wood of the log cabin.